especially if you're not super comfortable, especially with commercial cultivation, pulling your Z down and your Z genetics at the right time is so important. And as we're figuring out this facility, we're having to figure out the timing for each of these strains, because it could be one day be absolutely amazing and the next day just be like a little bit less amazing. So it's really important that we spend the time figuring out what day to transfer it into the room and what day to harvest it at. Good morning, guys. Welcome to this week's episode of Grow Room Weekly. It's gonna be just me today. Bobby's out in Vancouver doing some trade shows. It's a busy day at the grow today. We're doing some construction in the veg room, swapping all the top lights over to Chromas, and we'll get into that in a second. We're also preparing for harvest. Everything's looking like really good, and we're really excited to get into this week's walkthrough. So we're starting off in the veg room today. Everything's looking excellent. We're doing a little bit of construction in here as well. This table was the ones that the Skittles were on. That was, or the blue Sushi that was missing from room 3, that half table and then the full other one. And those recently got transferred out. With that transfer, we swapped all of our top lights over to Chromas. Our top lights that were already existing in here were at the end of their lifespan. And so we were looking at what the best solution was to swap over top light wise for the veg. And Blueprint a few months ago added a double tier into their veg room, and they wanted to just throw up some of the extra lights that they had sitting around, and they saw amazing results with it. And there's some studies going around about far red and root-in process and certain things like that. So it allows us to trial a little bit more. These plants are on day 9 or 10, I believe, and they're about to be transferred into room 1. Room 1's harvesting tomorrow, and then we have our normal cleaning cycle afterwards. There is a Chroma every foot-ish at the top. They're currently set at 40% intensity, no adjustments on the color spectrum, no far red currently. We're just wanting to see what it would look like. We're definitely cleaning up all of the wiring and doing the maintenance side of things. Clearly, we're doing a little bit of construction in here right now. As soon as we move these plants out, we're gonna swap all the rest of this room over to the Chromas. So right now, at about 16 inches, at the lowest intensity, we're about 360-ish micromoles. The other day when I was in here, when we first installed these, turned off all the lights and we wanted to see where it was at. It's really working well in this multi-tier application. And so we're excited to see what the rest of the room looks like. But this is gonna be one of the trials that we have going forward, is just seeing what our lights do as top lights for veg. There's been some people asking about good veg lights and things of that nature. And we get a lot of calls asking about using some of the under canopy fixtures as top lights. And so this is one of the trials that we're gonna have going on, and we'll be checking in on this regularly once the rest of the room is swapped over. But this is something really cool and we're really excited to play with. This run, we're switching to another 70-30 blend. We're just wanting to try the square hard pot. Hey guys, this run we're swapping back over to. The veg room right now is looking amazing. The plants are a little bit shorter than we normally have them. Kyle was saying that they had a little bit of a slow start this time. Right now we're swapped back over to a different 70-30 mix. This is just a local in-house hydro store, our hydro store brand. And we're back in the square hard pots. We just want to give these another shot, see how everything smooths over with running those, see how any irrigation changes. We're still trying to dial in this facility and exactly what we want to do, because a good baseline is what you could base your trials off of. So we want to figure out the thing that works best for our workflow, best for our teams. So we're going back to these pots, trying these again. And yeah, these plants are about to get ready to be transferred into room 1. That comes down tomorrow. And so really excited to get this next run going in there. This is day 12 in room 4. Right now we're doing the perpendicular versus parallel trial. These first 4 tables are Versace. This last table back here is the testers. We're running 1K in the front. Then we're running something called Pink Tricks right next to that. That is gonna be a blue Sushi crossed with mimosa, crossed with the LCG cut. And in the back, we're running the original Girl Scout cookies. So this room has been getting fairly cold at night, and we've been trying to figure out how to deal with that. The room behind this wall is a big empty warehouse. This is one of the only walls that faces like an external area like that in the facility. And so we also don't have our dehumidifiers in the room. They're on top of the room, and everything's being ducted in. So we're really trying to figure out how to balance this heat load at night. Because when these lights turn off, it gets much colder. And right now in Sacramento, it's getting like low to mid 30s-ish in the night. We're really trying to be able to maintain these rooms. We took over in July, so this is a learning curve. Something that people don't think about when they take over facilities is how much work it is to figure out how your rooms behave during different seasons. And people don't think it's necessarily a huge problem because you're in an indoor environment, but everything matters. The space in your own warehouse, any outside external walls, if it's concrete, brick, whatever it is, it's really important for insulating your environment. And so we're still dialing that in and figuring that out. I am really happy with how this room is looking, especially with the environmental constraints that we've been facing. Today's day 12, it's stacking up very nicely. We're doing 5 minutes of far red at the end of day. Everything's been praying, drinking super well, given the fact that it's been so cold. I'm very surprised, honestly, with how well it's been drinking. This room's looking pretty good so far. We're excited to see how this continues to go. Room 3, also day 12. This room is holding much better environmentally than 4. Again, we combine those rooms, they're the same day, they get transferred in at the same time just due to them being 2 smaller rooms. This is our tester bench right here. We're doing honey bananas, as well as East Coast sour diesel. These are the strains that drink the closest. They still don't drink anywhere near each other, but they're just the 2 closest ones for the ones that we were wanting to test for our taller strains. I'm turning off these wall fans. I already turned off 2 of them. This last one's still on. It's kind of beating up this honey bananas. It's really tall. Everything's happy, drinking well over here. This first table is gonna be the Chanel. The back half of the second table is gonna be Chanel. The front half's gonna be the blue Sushi. And then this right table is gonna be the blue Sushi as well. This blue Sushi got transferred in on Friday. They're super happy. Everything's looking really, really nice in here. The environment's holding well. Everything's drinking well. Blue Sushi and the Chanel is like kind of moving at a similar pace. This is 8 days behind the rest of the room. We're really excited to see how this room comes down. This might be something that we do more often going forward, depending on how this plays its course. The Chanel and the blue Sushi behave a lot more similarly, and so before in our facility, like in the facility, we've been trying to just use whatever strains we had. At first, we were constrained by the moms that we inherited. Now we're back onto our own mom schedule, and we're getting that going in a productive way. The thing about the blue Sushi and the Chanel is they both like low light intensity or lower light intensity than some things like the Versace might be. And so we might be switching, doing certain rooms where it's all blue Sushi and all Chanel just to get a better and more homogeneous environment, lighting and temperature wise, because we're not really pushing to get color on either of these genetics. So, and both of them like those warmer temperatures longer. It kind of just works a little hand in hand, and this is important for cultivators to do if possible, is making your rooms and your genetics in your room as similar as possible, so you're not having to do a bunch of different strategies all over the place. We're really excited to see how this is going. Everything's looking good so far, and it's so loud in here. Sorry, that's a distraction. The dehues kicked on. All the fans started running at a higher intensity. Just got so loud so quickly, so it threw me off a little bit. But we're really excited to see how this room continues to progress. We're gonna be moving over to room 2 right now. This is room 2. Today is day 31. 5 minutes of far red at the end of day. Everything in here is looking really nice. I'm very happy with how things are going. We got table 1 Chanel, table 2 and 3 Versace, and then table 4 is gonna be that blue Sushi. This got moved in 10 days behind the rest of the room, so that's day 21. Everything in here has been drinking well, has been pretty happy. Overall, still nighttime temps are a little bit cool. This is the only other room that's really having environmental issues currently that we're still trying to dial in. Some of our mini splits the controls on them are a little bit hard. There's a bunch of different units in here. We got this room with 4 different mini split units, so it's been hard to try to make everything communicate together and balance. It's odd to have the blue zoo be the tallest thing in the room. We transferred these in a little bit taller, but this is stacking up quite nicely, especially for day 21. This is really doing its thing over here. Something that we're wanting to do for next run, similarly to what we did in room 1, is we're gonna be moving these top big air green fans around. When we took the facility, they're kind of just blowing back and forth in a zigzag where we want to like racetrack it. We're not a huge fan of these wall fans. The reason why they're still up is because it's moving the airflow, because there's a lot of things near our ceilings. There's the dehues up here, there's the mini splits pushing air, there's all the lights. So it's a good way to keep air movement in these rooms, and this is how they were running it already. We didn't want to just like take everything down, reset it, and make sure it's like, we want to make sure it's still working and it doesn't just like not be able to be moving that air and it just be stagnant in here. So we're trying to do these things slowly to get them as we understand these rooms better. But if we could move these top fans around and take down these wall fans, it'd be nice, especially because this the blue zoo on this right side is getting beat up just with how tall it is by these fans a little bit. I'm gonna go over there and turn them down today. The issue is that air movement doesn't necessarily fully carry over into this third bench. This room's looking excellent though, especially with these low night temperatures and that big differential from day to night. So this is room 1. Today is day 49. This room at first was a challenge. It had some environmental issues early on, and it wasn't necessarily the same thing that's happening in room 4 or room 2. We were just having ACs not communicating with each other. Again, there's a bunch of different mini splits in here, and they kept just like resetting themselves. So we had a technician come out and help us alongside our team working and figuring that out. Everything in here is really nice though. This comes down on tomorrow and it is ready to come down. The Chanel, I've never seen this get this purple. It's a little bit box-taily. I know it's not crazy blown out by any means, but I've not seen this elongation of the top of the nodes with this genetic. Probably has to do with that, some of that environmental stress from it getting really hot in here with the ACs turning off and resetting themselves. But that environmental stress, unintentionally, it's still pretty warm in here right now. It's 70, 76. So it's not like we're pushing temps to get it to be this color. But that day-night differential or those differentials of the swinging probably had a big effect on it finishing the way that it did. This room yield-wise is probably gonna be a little bit smaller than we were wanting it. This trial was 5 minutes of far red at the end of day. And for the last 10 days-ish, we've been running far red at 100% intensity for the full time that the lights are on, plus the additional 5 minutes. So the 12 hours that the lights are on, plus an additional 5 minutes at the end. And everything's finishing really nicely. I don't think yield's gonna be small, but quality is definitely high in here. The whole room is extremely frosty going down, and I'm really excited to be in here. Alexis, our videographer, is fairly new to the weed industry, and he came in here right when we opened the door and was like, damn, this smells strong. It smells like candy in here. And especially for someone that's just getting into these flower rooms and like just really getting a first-hand look at these rooms, it's really exciting to hear those kind of reactions and see those reactions where you're going in and now seeing a ton of weed all the time, and then you walk in and you're just like hit in the face with how it smells. It's really, really strong in here. It's really fragrant. The guys keep saying that they're walking in here and smelling the rooms, and just to peek your head in and get like a whiff of it. It's a very refreshing feeling. So Chanel on the first table, Versace on the second. I'm not a big fan of half tables. I know we have a bunch of mixed tables right now, but it's because we're trying different things. There's another half of Versace in the back. You can see where that purple kind of ends and then the green comes forward. The front of this table is gonna be Bull Rider. It's kind of jacky, kind of Blue Dreamish smelling, but it's a short, stockier plant. And then the Blue Zoo on the last table. This came in at day 8. So we're still trying to really play with that Blue Zoo timeline. As you can see, one day was day 7. This one was day 8. Another one was 10 days later. We're still trying to figure out that timing, because certain Z strains, and what we're realizing with this is there's a time that the nose dies off where it just isn't as powerful as it was the day before. And there's not a lot of genetics that are like that have like a very like good harvest day. Shout out to Preferred Gardens. They just won the Proper Smoke League, the Proper Doinks competition for their Mixed Light Z. I know there's a lot of controversy around that, and people were saying that, oh, it was paid for and all these different things, but the person that they were going up against, like up the hill, even stated like, hey, this was just perfectly executed timing. Being like, this Z was perfect in December when it was harvested. And he said, even throughout the competition, you watched as the Mixed Light Z got better all the way until the last day for the competition. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because, one, it's a friendly competition and people are just actually trying to smoke and see what the best smoking thing is. But two, especially if you're not super, super comfortable, especially with commercial cultivation, holding your Z down and your Z genetics at the right time is so important. And as we're figuring out this facility, we're having to figure out the timing for each of these strains, because it could be one day be absolutely amazing and the next day just be like a little bit less amazing. So it's really important that we spend the time figuring out what day to transfer it into the room and what day to harvest it at. And so this room is coming down on day 50. We're really excited to see this room come down. Of course, yield's gonna be a little bit lower probably than it was, but we're really happy with the quality in here and how everything's looking. So this is the realities of cultivation. These are the things that you're having to play with. You have to play with your timing of your genetics. You have to play with the timing of your rooms, making sure that your strains operate well together in your rooms. And then we just want to be able to do this dialing in so we can do the best trials for you guys as possible. It's really important that we try to put out good information and we try to be honest about everything that we have going on, because cultivation is the livelihood for a lot of people. A lot of people feed their families based off of this, and it's something that all of us enjoy. We all enjoy this plant. We all enjoy what this plant does. So if we could share that information as broadly as we can, we think that it just makes things better for everyone. And we're gonna mess things up, but we're excited to be able to show you guys how we screw it up. Hi guys, thanks for watching this episode of Grow Room Weekly. Sorry if I was a little bit rambly today. It's just me and we're running all over the place at the grow. So make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us in the comments, in DMs, over email. Make sure you go to favenlighting.com. Hit us up for any of your under canopy needs. Have a great rest of your day.